Now the IOC has approved cricket for the next Olympic Games, ladies and gentlemen. That will take place in Paris, ladies and gentlemen, the 2028 Paris Olympics, ladies and gentlemen. And now what we are learning is that the IOC has approved cricket, a huge boost to cricket fans across the country, where now the cricket will be included in the entire pantheon of games when it comes to the Olympic Games. A huge decision by the LOC. Now this is cricket for Los Angeles 2028. Let's do that correction, ladies and gentlemen. Where we are learning is that the IOC has approved cricket for the Los Angeles Games in 2020. A big piece of breaking news that's coming in, where a huge boost to cricket fans across the country, where the IOC has approved the inclusion of cricket in the pantheon of games for the 2028 Olympics. A huge decision by the IOC. What we are also learning is that when voting was going on and the opposers were asked to kind of vote when it comes to the entire voting process that was taking place, only 2 raised their hands when it came to voting against the proposal. So it was quite a huge bunch of members of the IOC, almost a unanimous decision to include cricket in the pantheon of games for the next Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. That's the piece of breaking news that's coming in, where a huge boost to cricket fans across the globe, where cricket is now included in the entire Olympic Games. This will take place in Los Angeles in 2028. So the proposal has now been approved, where cricket is now among the other sports in the Olympic Games. Now this is for the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. Let's listen in.
Pending sports. Boxing. In June 2023, the IOC Session withdrew the recognition of the International Boxing Association. The IOC has not recognized another governing body for Olympic boxing. Any decision regarding the inclusion of boxing in the LA 28 sports program is therefore put on hold.
Thank you, Mr. Stoss. Are there questions to this? No, I think it's pretty logic for once. Mr. Stoss.
Weightlifting considerations. The IWF has made efforts to address the historical incidents of doping in the sport, including the full delegation of the anti-doping program to the International Testing Agency since 2020. Elected new leadership and the revision of the EWF 2021 constitution with the support of an ASOIF expert was approved at the Congress in September 2023. According to the ITA, there have been strides in enhancing the integrity of the sport and upholding the values of clean competition. It will be essential for the EWF to continue to demonstrate its transition towards an effective change in culture. The IWF Constitution's practical application needs to be monitored closely to ensure that an effective change of culture has been implemented. This monitoring includes Paris 2024 and LA 2028. The Programme Commission and IOC Executive Board therefore recommend the following. The Olympic Programme Commission recommends to the IOC Executive Board to propose the IOC Session the inclusion of weightlifting in the LA 28 sports programme following the decision of the International Weightlifting Federation to delegate its anti-doping management to the International Testing Agency and its sanctioning to the Court of Arbitration for Sport at least until end of the year 2028.
Vinaya Deshpande, as the IOC has taken this historic decision, the Olympic Games in Los Angeles in 2028 will now have cricket among the other sports. So Vinaya, a huge decision coming in. Cricket makes its way back to the Olympic Games after 128 years.
Absolutely, and in fact, that is something that everybody is excited about. This has been one of the biggest buzz that we were hearing since the time the IOC session was on, because this was something that was going to be put to vote. And remember, everybody was speaking about it, about what the decision will be, because the first day, the inaugural session itself spoke about how this proposal will be put for cricket, which is a huge game, particularly for India, massive fan base, massive players who have great following. So everybody was speaking about the kind of followers and how Olympic movement would benefit from tapping onto this sport, as well how it would be a win-win situation for the Olympic movement, as well as for the Indian fans of cricket. And that is why even day before yesterday, when we were speaking to Shah Rukh Khan, he had said how it was particularly an exciting moment, and it will be great to see cricket in LA 2028. Finally, this proposal stands accepted today. It was put to vote. There was one person who voted against it. There were a few abstentions. Now, those abstentions were not counted, and this proposal was overwhelmingly voted for by the delegates of the IOC on the second day today of the IOC session, which is going on here at the Geo World Center. So yes, it's a big day, particularly for India, for South Asia, where cricket is a game which is followed by millions of people, really. And now that the Olympic movement has decided that cricket will be a part. Remember, cricket was a part of the 5 sports that were proposed to be included in the Olympic game that is going to take place in LA in 2024, and that is something that in 2028, I beg your pardon, and that is something which discussions were on, primarily because that would lead to even addition of contingent with respect to the number of teams that will go and the number of players that will add the athlete delegation that the host country will have to see. So, including all these discussions which took place, there were certain queries as well that were raised by some of the IOC